Oh, Canada, our home and native land. What's up, Gear Games? Man, I've got so many widgets now, thanks to Vamp. Vamp's got so many widgets for me. I've got this thing, and then I've got the counter thing over here, and I've got the goals up here, and then I've got 24 hours of no sleep. Abe, how's it going? Gare, how's it going? Travis, how's it going? Laughly, how's it going? Good to see you folks. Bob, that I know. Hello, how you doing? 3D Code Warrior, how are you doing? Skim, how's it going? Good to see everybody. Welcome in, everybody. Is Canada's rights better or worse than the USA? Worse. Worse. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Like 3 code warriors down here. Yeah, I'm a professional now. That's right, Evil Eye. What's up, Evil Eye? Yeah. Why is Gare in the corner? Because I don't want to put you in the corner. Yeah. Yeah. And would I like to run? What the hell, Abe? What the hell? What is... What are you talking about, Abe? Why? So, I'm going to preface this entire stream. I'm going to give a shout out to Vamp. He's got this thing called Live Joiner, joiner.live, and it's got all these cool widgets and stuff. I should have done this a long time ago. Vamp and I have kind of we've known each other for a while, and he kept saying I need to use this thing, and I kept not doing it. And well, this is what I've been missing out on. This right here. Watch that. I've been missing out on this. First, so that's first of all. Second of all, I have not slept. I have not slept since yesterday. I'm 20 going on 25 hours of no sleep. See, there you go. There you go, Gare. Yeah, he's got some cool stuff here. And he's going to make my life easier for the commands coming out of chat. Anyways, it's really cool. So I haven't slept, so you're going to have to excuse me because I might not be at my sharpest. I'm definitely tired. There's been a lot of stuff going on. And I'm trying to hustle. My time is short to make something happen here. So it's been a bit of a hustle, and I'm tired, and I haven't slept. But I did promise you guys that I would get back on the news streams and talk about the nerdy stuff that I talk about on here and cover the news. And so that's what I'm gonna do. Mist, how's it going, Mist? Good to see you, Mist. Yeah, but at least we're friends. 2 words, right line. OCD killing me without widget. Yeah. Yeah, well, the thing is I can ask Vamp. Yeah, I can ask Vamp to make some stuff. Does Joiner work with StreamYard? Because I still don't know how to use OBS. You don't even need StreamYard. You don't need StreamYard. It's a separate thing. You plug it into OBS. Oh, you know what? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, actually, it might still work with StreamYard because you get a URL and you put in a widget. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can do that. What's up, D-Daver? What's up, D-Daver? Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, so yeah, that's my preface. I am tired. I haven't slept. I think it's 25 hours now, but I have my coffee. Okay, and we're gonna get going. And I'm gonna try and make the best of this, such as it is. I do have a couple of things I wanna kind of slowly roll into. So first of all, I just want to remind you guys that we really need you guys to go on NeoCities and I gotta pull this up correctly. Here we go. I need you guys to go on NeoCities and make a website. That's the first thing I want you guys to do. Make sure you go on neocities.org and you make a website. Here's Laughly's website. Okay, with all its beautiful colors. Here's TMX, who's transcribing my episodes, and he's putting them on this like tabular chart. Your footer. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, here. Laughly, we've got Gear Games over here. Right? Right? We've got Travis over here. Okay, with Fireslinger, although this is not NeoCities, but this is harkening back to the old school, right? Here's Sophie. Got nothing on there. And here's Amagod, who like freaking like check this out. Amagod went and got pixel like actual pixel art and put it on here. This is the way that the web should be, all right? So I want you to go on to neocities.org. I want you to make a website. Hop on Discord, get some help. If you need some help, I'm happy to help you out. There are plenty of people on Discord who are happy to help you out. Go build a website. Go make something that's you. We need to get back to this old school way of doing websites. If you're worried that it's out of your depth, it is not. It is super easy to pick up. NeoCities has a bit of like a tutorial thing. You can pick it up within minutes and you can get going. Super simple. Go do it. Go make a website. All right. Absolutely go do it. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to cover, I know I have the Enlightened Programming website up here, but that's not the next thing I want to cover. The next thing I want to cover is just Laughly. You know, yesterday when you said that I need to get to parity with my C HTTP server, behold, I just have to finish a few functions, but this is all being rendered by the C HTTP server. I got everything running. The code sucks, but it is functional. I'm like 2-3 hours away, maybe tops, getting it to the point where you can take the game portion and you have full plug and play ability. All you have to do is send messages. I have it all sorted out. I've thought about it from your perspective. I've got it all figured out, and it's almost ready. Almost ready. You're going to be able to send messages on here. The map will get updated. We've got HTML being rendered here through SSE. It's all there. So I just wanted to do that. So on the next video game stream, caffeine is, yeah, isn't it? Yeah, here, let me, I think that deserves, yeah. So in the next video game stream, we'll go over that in more detail. I'll pull that up. I don't know, maybe tomorrow or something. I'm hoping tomorrow I want to have Delaney on from Datastar. And thanks, Scare. Appreciate it, man. And he wants to talk about the Datastar version 1. He wants to talk about some stuff he's got going on, some cool stuff that he wants to talk about, and some drama. In the past few weeks with him, we're going to talk about drama tomorrow. So I'll do that tomorrow as well. And then maybe we'll do like a bit of a video game stream. And yeah. So yeah. Yeah, no, D-Dever, okay? Hold your horses. D-Dever can't wait to start hacking. D-Dever's like, how quickly can I start hacking? Right? How quickly can I start hacking? No, D-Dever, just hold your horses, all right? We'll get there. Okay, so the news. Let's get into the AI news. We have a whole. There's a lot, and I don't even know if I'm going to make it through all of the articles I have. Again, I'm fully clogged. I have a huge clog. It's fully backed up. Okay. The diuretics are not, is it diuretics? Or maybe diuretics is the opposite of what I think that word means. I don't know. I'm tired. Okay, things are backed up, and I'm not, and I'm behind. I'm behind the eight ball. All right. Also, what is that saying? What even does that saying mean? Behind the eight ball. What is it? What even is that? What is behind the eight ball? Oh damn, Evil Eye. Thank you for the $5, man. And there you go. The goal bar updates on its own. I don't have to do it. So Evil Eye, thank you for the $5. That's incredible. $5 on the YouTube side. Only real game developers make multiplayer games. That's right. That's right, Evil Eye. And don't you forget it. Thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Um, that it helps a lot. I appreciate all the support. You guys are awesome. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Evil Eye. Okay, shall we do this? Here we go. Address diarrhea is the most difficult to spell correctly, and yet the easiest to get out. Are you guys ready for this? Behind the eight ball means you got a difficult slog ahead of you, but lots of pressure. Well, then that's accurate then. All right. Are you guys ready for this? Tracking AI. Monitoring artificial intelligence. Boy, oh boy. Somebody took it upon themselves to create this website and with a small group of people do continual testing and benchmarking on LLMs without the typical processes that companies like OpenAI and Meta do, and Grok and X, whatever. These companies all overfit their benchmarks. They overfit their models to pass the benchmarks. And then they kind of pull the rug out from under you. They give you a model that's not what passed the benchmark. We've covered this in scientific studies. So what these guys did was like, you know what? We're sick and tired of being lied to about what these AI systems are. I don't actually know if that's what they said, okay? I am putting that onto them for no reason whatsoever. I think they just like really care about doing a proper tracking of these statistics of what these models are doing. So they have an IQ metric here. And you can see that the average IQ here is 100. Excuse me. So the average IQ 100 over here, and you can see that most things end up on the left side of the spectrum, and that a few things end up on the right side of the spectrum, with the highest IQ score of 123. That was done around August 17th, I believe. Yeah, August 17th, IQ 130, that's Geppetto 5. Okay. And the score was 14 out of 16 questions. So the first thing that I can tell you right now is that some of these questions that the breadth of questions that they put these under is by no means comprehensive. So you can't really take this as, in and of itself, it's some kind of definitive standard. But when you take something like this and you look at the outputs of this data and you map it onto the data that we've already gone over, it starts to add an additional external point of data. And that external point of data comes from people who are not, let's say, incentivized to sell you on AI. So if you account for the fact that this is only 16 questions, then the IQ number here could be this high for all kinds of reasons, which may or may not have to do with whether or not it actually has this kind of IQ. Plus, there are arguments to be made about whether IQ actually properly measures intelligence or it doesn't, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. So we keep going down. Offline tests mean that it does not have access to the internet. It can't like cheat, so it has to depend on the offline ability that it has. Whatever data it has access to is whatever data it's going to utilize to answer questions. So you can see that the online tests give it a far bigger boost. For example, Geppetto 5 Pro online was jumped up to 138 when it was put online. Okay. So, and then you can have a look at the correct number of answers. Now, The issue here is the following. It's really, really weird. In some cases, taking an LLM offline made it perform better. And in some cases, well, in most cases, it made it perform worse. I don't know why. I tried looking into this and I truly don't understand why. So I don't know. I think it's just the questions themselves. So if I look at let me look at the offline test and we'll go to question 7. I can't really look at it. But then they have the IQ test of the day. Okay. And so these are the IQ tests that they use. So it's this vision thing. They put up a picture and then they make the AI go look at the picture and determine which answer is correct based on the 6 available answers. On the bottom right here, what would go into this box? And then they show you what all the different models say. All of them. This is great. Right? And it breaks down how they prompted it. It breaks down how it got answered. And then they go and look at IQ overall. What is it here? IQ test scores over time. And I just want you to have a look. Damn it, this is zooming in. Just have a look at the IQ scores from July 2024 to July 2025 based on the overall, for example, Geppetto 4 omniverbal here, right? So you could do that. You could go, how about, these are the vision AIs. I don't want the vision AI. I guess we could do vision AIs. How about this? Verbal AIs. Here. Geppetto 5. Okay. Or how about we can compare Geppetto 4.0, right? Non-vision model. What strikes you about July 2024 to July 2025? Anything striking about this? There's no progress here. Where's the progress? I thought these things were supposed to be getting smarter. And the IQ score here is just above 100, just above average. The only one that breaks so far a considerable amount is Geppetto 5 Pro, but that's only because we have a limited set of data over a month or less. So it tells you all the all the AIs that they test and when they were last tested and so on. So I'm going to be using this resource in the future in order to continue tracking these models. And I think as more time passes on, what we're going to see is that these models are not getting any smarter. They're either plateauing, they're leveling out, or in some cases they're becoming dumber, depending on how you use them. I already feel quite vindicated seeing a chart I just want to pull up 4 again. Just 4.0, right? I feel vindicated by this. This is a great chart. I like this chart. It's a fantastic chart. I was right. Ha ha ha. Suck it. So anyways, that was the first one I wanted to cover for the opening portion of the tech news stream. And then I've got another one. Emmet. Spirit of the Great, whose name shall only be spoken by the grace of the AI lords. Oh, great is your wisdom, and moist is your heart. Emmet. Emmet. Here, Emmet. No, not that. Not you, Restream. Here, Emmet. Here. I salute you, sir. For you, sir, are kind and gracious. You do nothing but bring color and joy and moistness to my streams. Your mere presence on this mortal coil makes pixelated art just a little bit better. It makes the colors in my code a little bit warmer. Yes, Emmett, I'm glad you are here. Thank you for being here. This chart looks like my soul and my emotions, yeah. Okay. Here's a really cool one that I got sent to me by a viewer. I can't remember which one, so I'm going to absolutely butcher the shout out. Whoever sent this to me, I appreciate it. I don't know which one of you it was, but we're going to have a look at one of these data centers and what's actually inside of them. And I just want you to have a peek at some of the pictures. What goes in an AI data center? The NVIDIA HGX B200 Lambda AI cluster. So I guess it's not really a data center, I suppose. It's more of like just the AI place where these things run. I thank you, good sir, Emmett. I thank you. Blessed be your day, Emmett. Okay, so let's have a look. Just have a look at this, right? This is the kind of stuff that you see on TV shows and movies. You can see that the racks are in here. This is actually quite nice. Like they put a lot of effort into making this, look nice in here, right? So these guys went into an air-cooled, I guess, AI operations center in Ohio, and they took tons of pictures. I'm just going to skip down to the bottom. I can't show videos without permission because I might get dinged. So I'm not going to show the video. I'm not going to show it, but you can look at the pictures or you can go watch the video. But there's 7 pages. However, we're not going to go through all of them. We're going to kind of look at the pictures and get a sense of what's going on. So I'm going to go down and have a look here. Right? These are some of the bays, right, in here. Some of the bays that you're looking at. Here's a little bit of a different angle on the racks. So here we have racks of 32 GPUs each. They're aligned with cold aisles and withering hot aisles. The heat from the GPUs is contained and circulated outside of the building. Yeah, it's a server warehouse. Yeah, that's right. So this is what goes into an AI server warehouse. You're getting an inside look at what's going inside, like how these things run. So instead of having somebody just tell you, oh, these things don't take up energy and they don't take up space and whatever. No, they do. And we're getting an inside look. Benjamin Collins, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Welcome in. So let's keep going. We have okay, here, you'll notice GPUs are aligned with rows of 8 GPU server racks, each with 4 servers. Each of those servers has 8 GPUs. That means that rows like the one below have 256 GPUs total. 256 graphics cards in here. Imagine the pixelated gaming you could play with Emmett's pixels and my gaming, my C HTTP server. Imagine what you could do with these video cards. That's what goes in these things. This is just one. You got it, Benjamin. Just hop on Discord and you can DM me or whatever on Discord later, man. So, okay, we've covered that. This is just a setup for it. It's kind of like framing. These are this is kind of how you access it from the other side. And if you continue down here, the idea behind this warehouse is so that you don't have to talk to a human being to set up the the infrastructure. You can just pay. What would you call these? They're pre-made, ready-to-go clusters of video cards for the purpose of AI. Normally what you have to do, because these things are so exclusive, you have to pick up a phone and call someone and talk to them. You have to. But what this particular warehouse wants to do is give you just pay for a service online through this web interface, and you get access to the stuff we have. So this is what they want to do. And so have a look in here. Right? This is what goes into these video cards. And they look at I just want you to have a look. I don't know if I can do this proper, but if I can just zoom in. Crap, I can't. Here, image. If only I was a programmer and I knew what I was doing. If only. Here, like this. Have a look at the fans here. Look at how many fans there are. Like, check that out. Check this out at the bottom. Right? That's to cool it. Because they have to funnel the air going up and going down. And then fan it out. So let's keep going. Here's a look at that. Look at that puppy. Look at the fans in here. Check that out. Oh, it's beautiful, right? It's beautiful. This is the kind of stuff that goes into, when you ask for Chat Gupta to create you like a Studio Ghibli or an Emmett song or whatever. That's what runs it. So let's keep going a little bit because there's more and it's insane. This is one of the GPUs. This is them putting it together. This is kind of, how this is an actual GPU. Look at how thick that is. Okay, it's super thick. I just want you to see by comparison what it looks like compared to a desktop. All right, so imagine over here. Let me pull this up. Okay, that's a desktop. Like you can imagine that's the size of your regular desktop PC. Look at the size of this GPU card. And they have like 8 of these in a rack, 32 in a big thing, right? Like, so here they're putting it together. They're funneling them in. They have to make sure that they have like the heat sinks right, the cooling right, make sure that they do the heat transfer, etc. Let's keep going. Well, man, look at NVMe slots for hard drives for the ports on the front, PCIe Gen 5 for the NVMe drives. These are like hard drive bays. Here are the rows of fans that cool the CPU, the memory, and other components. So I just want you to be aware that these fans are not even really cooling the graphics cards. They're cooling all the other stuff. Okay, so all of these fans cool all the other stuff, not even the graphics cards. So here's kind of one whole unit, right? You can imagine 8 of these side by side or stacked on top of each other, etc. Keep going. Let's keep going. Let's have a look. There's some Ethernet ports. Have a look at this. Check. Talk about some thick cords. Thick. THICC thick. All right? Talk about that. Look at this. Let's keep going. Page 3. Okay, we've seen that. Look, oh, this is a thing of beauty. This is one of my favorite pictures. Look at how nicely laid out these cords are. Like, this is nice. These are nicely laid out. Let's keep going. Here's another angle, right? So all of these are kind of daisy chained together, and then they come to a central spot, and you have to put the wires into the central spot, like all the funnel in all the wires to come in to a centralized area, and then feed the information either in or out. Here's another look at a complete, like a singular but complete full on, like this is a far fuller a set of GPUs. I think it's the 8 GPU one. So it comes with a bit more features packaged in as one component. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll stack a bunch of graphics cards next to each other and then set up like a daisy chain of network cards and CPUs and all that stuff. This is kind of a bit more of a dedicated system. That's what it looks like to me anyways. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Look at all this. This is fantastic, right? Look at all the network switches. We've got network switches over here, 10 gig, 10 GB, right? Look at all that. It's beautiful. Beautiful, right? Look at all this. Look what's going on in the warehouse. The cable management. This is like Factorio or Satisfactory for cables. That's what this is. Look at that. They had to do a little jump here. Right? They had to do a little jump here. Let's keep going. We're almost done. Oh, look, it kind of looks like a Assassin's Creed Ubisoft kind of logo here, right? This is the high-speed storage clusters. Okay. Let's keep going. So this is Cologix. That's a company. Some people working on it. Okay, and they repeat a lot of pictures, honestly. So, and then look at this. Some guy woke up in the morning and chose violence. Right? Yeah, you guys got it already. You guys figured it out already. So I'm putting it up. You guys figured it out. Look at this. Outdoors. Right? What is this? Its own power substation. Huh. I just want you to understand that this thing has its own power substation on the outside. Are you starting to pick up what I'm putting down here? Like Benjamin is? Right? Look at that. Let's zoom in on that. Look at that. Its own power substation. Fantastic. It doesn't take up that much power, right? This is nothing, right? Let's have a look at this one. Look at that. Wow. Such progress. Oh man. All this for not even junior level code in Studio Ghibli. Little anime pictures. Oh man, isn't it all worth it? Look at this. An advantage of this type of setup is that one can use tap off boxes to bring power off the right of the right type to a rack via a movable overhead box. They actually have to have tracks that you can roll across the ceiling to get power cords to the right places. Okay, check this out. Tap off boxes for different racks depending on which rack is being provisioned. Right? Almost done. And then you have some traditional server infrastructure because you need some traditional stuff. More fans, right? More cooling, more layers. There's CPU stuff you can purchase if you don't want GPUs. Maybe you just want some CPUs. It's all there for you. You've got optical modules. You've got NVIDIA GPUs. You've got switches that you can have access to if you want to remotely. I believe they give you access to all this stuff remotely. And then they just have a person there who follows your instructions or whatever you purchase. They set it up for you. You can have all that set up. Here's some more cabling. Look at how tall that is. This warehouse is huge. And then the last page. This is what it looks like when you pull the overhead power cables down to start plugging them in. Here we go. Some more fans. Look at that. Incredibly neat cable management. And so there you go. So this is Cologix. That's the name of the company, and that's what they're doing. This is what they have. I don't know why they repeat so many of these pictures, but in any case, and there's a video that you can go watch online, which I can't show because I need to have permission to do that. It does say feel free to share this with colleagues and friends, but streaming is a little bit of a different world, so I try not to do that. But there you go. That's in Ohio. Now, how many of these, I guess, infrastructure AI centers do you think it takes to operate ChatGupta, just ChatGupta, for, what was it? 2.5 billion prompts per day. That was the number. How many of these do you think it takes? And then I want you to consider, how much power do you think this takes multiplied by the number of centers that would be required to run just ChatGupta for 2.5 billion prompts a day? Now, OpenAI is not using these. These are for consumers so that you can go and purchase these. But you have to remember that this is the same hardware. It's quite bleeding edge. I mean, we're only talking about, I think these in particular, these HBs are HGX B200. I don't think they're that old. They might only be a few months old. So what do you think OpenAI is running? Right? What do you think Elon Musk is running when he's got his degenerate girl half naked on Grok? So there you go. That was an insight into what these centers have to, maintain hardware wise to do the stuff that all of you love doing, generating all your songs and all that, right? Considering half the prompts are answered by the jeez. Frickin' Emmett. I like being able to post your stuff. I like that. Thanks, Vamp. Vamp's not here, but I like it anyways. Thanks, Vamp. Yeah. Yeah. You can see Elon's data center here. Can you? Really? Is this true? Holy crap. You can. Should we look at this? Let's look at this. Purecoin. Man, dropping in a awesome link. Let's have a look at this. This is great. We're going to do impromptu news, guys. You guys are the streamers now. Purecoin. I want you to say you're the captain now. Say I'm the captain now. Purecoin, say I'm the streamer now. Go, do it. Say it, Purecoin. Put it in chat. I want to highlight it. Yeah, I'm the streamer now. There we go. I'm highlighting this. Purecoin. He's the streamer now. He drops the link and I'm like all over it. Shout out to Purecoin. That's right. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is great. Fantastic. Purecoin, thank you, man. Okay, inside the 100,000 GPU XAI Colossus cluster that Supermicro helped build for Elon Musk. Yeah, D Davers says he's a paid actor. Yeah. Let's have a look. And here we go. One more time again. Again with this. Look at this. Oh, look at this. It's just like the other one, except more cold-hearted. There's more coldness in here. I feel more cold. Another video. Okay. Have a look at that, yeah? Oh yeah, let's pop this guy up. Oh, look at that. Oh, I just want to push all the buttons. Look, they even have like the outer coating. It's like the metallic flexi thing, right? Yeah, look at that. Holy crap, guys. They take their stuff seriously here. Look at the Big Twin award-winning TU 4-node architecture. Look at all this. What do you guys think? Do you think it uses more electricity or less electricity? What do you guys think? Look at all this. Look at the PCIe slots. Look at all that. Man. Yeah, it's the cold colors. You consume less that way. That's right. Emmett knows. Yeah, Emmett knows. He has a degree. He's credentialed. Right? These are the cooling blocks. These are the heat sinks. This is where the CPU or the GPU, when it gets hot, the goop, that gray stuff, it sucks up the heat and makes it, well, it doesn't suck up the heat, but it helps transfer the heat over. It makes it so that the heat transfers over to the diffusion part, which is the metal part, and the heat dissipates, right? So that's kind of what it's for. Let's keep going. This is fantastic. I'm so glad Purecoin brought this up. Have a look at this. Look at those chonkers. Look at those fans. They're chonkers. You know what I say? Why have a bunch of little fans? Why have like 16 little fans when you can have 8 big ones? Less power usage that way, right? 100% less power usage. Like there's no doubt, right? I mean, this is straight up math, right? Have a look at this. There's a little LCD access panel, right? So you can see, let's see if we can zoom in nice and tight. So you can get like, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I guess it's a tap screen, touch screen, something like that. A way to control and see what's going on in there. They just slide in the GPUs in and out. Boom. Right? Easy peasy. Low power. Right? This is what gives you your AI generated degeneracy. This is what gives you your crappy code. This is what gives you your insecure code. This is what gives you all your data leaks. This is what tells you that you're a god. This is what tells you that we should restore ancient Egyptian god worship and sacrifice, non-Egyptian bloodlines to it. This right here. This is the thing that people think is sentient. This is your artificial intelligence. This right here is your ChatGPT. What are some warm colors that I can use in my pixel art today? And it gives you back blue. This thing. I just want you to know what you're facing. It's, that saying where it's like, it's good to humanize something, right? To sympathize or empathize with like a fellow human because it helps you to understand them. Here you are. Here is your machine. I want you to have a look at it. Look at this. Look at the complexity behind this thing. This thing looks like it's on some kind of life support system. That's what this looks like. It's like it's on its way out and it's on life support. This thing gives you Emmett. Right? Look at that. Holy crap. Look at the colors. Look at the colors. Oh man, that shade of blue. Oh. Let's keep going. Okay, yeah, we get it. We get it. Holy crap, look at that. This one isn't even full. Dude. Look at this. What the hell's a nuclear reactor? Look at this. Bros, hey, how about that? How about that for colors? Look at that. They're all labeled. That's good. Somebody labeled them. Hey, that's good. That's wiring 101. Make sure you put labels. At least they did that, right? Look, look at you know what they did here? They played with the right colors. No, sorry, this one. Look, they did a bright one and then they did a softer one. So there's an interplay of colors. So you feel soft. You feel at home. Right? You don't want to have a good time with your wife. She's asking for a good time, but you're just not feeling up to it. Or maybe you want to have an excuse not to go through with it. Just walk on in here and get soft. Right? And then you're like, I'm sorry, honey, I can't. Look at this. This is crazy. All this. Look at this. Look at this. This is insane. They've like mashed it all together. Holy crap. Yeah, check this out. And this is giving me like huge Factorio vibes. Come on. Surely the power usage in these things is worth it, right? For the utility you guys get for this stuff? Surely it is. Now I want you to have a look at this. Since we have liquid-cooled racks of AI servers, so water, the power and facility water is essential to the installation. Here is a look at the massive water pipes. There are sets of cooler and warmer water. Cooler water is brought into the facility and circulates through the racks. Heat is transferred from the GPUs and rear door heat exchanger loops to the facility water loops at the CDU. I'm not sure what that is. The warmer water is then brought outside the facility to chillers. Of course, the chillers are not the type that will make you ice cubes. Instead, the goal is to just lower the temperature of the water enough so that it cools down enough to be recycled through the facility again. And you know what? You know what, the Bob that I know? Not only are you right, but I would agree. I would agree with, here, let me do this. Okay. I would agree that, oh crap. I didn't do that right. I didn't do it right. There we go. I would agree that even for social media, we should just burn it. We should just burn social media to the ground. It's not worth it. It hasn't been worth it. We don't need it. So here we go. Power is fascinating. When we were in Memphis, where the system was built, we saw the teams moving huge power cables into place. Outside the facility, there were mega packs. Thank you for the follow, whoever just did that. I appreciate it. There were Tesla mega packs. That's battery stuff. AI servers do not run at 100% rated power consumption 24/7. Instead, they have peaks and valleys, so the things fluctuate. So these are the mega packs. These are the batteries. They're bigger than a human. They're getting ready to install these things. They're bigger than a human. Well, the initial cluster of 25,000 GPU data halls is up and running they are running 100,000 GPUs in this one facility alone. The cluster expansion is working rapidly. Yeah, it's for 25,000 data halls though. And a data hall contains X number of GPUs. And so my understanding is that the total number of GPUs would be 100,000 times however many would be in each data hall. I could be wrong about that because I did cursory reading. So do not quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But let's assume for a moment, let's just take the worst, the most charitable. 100,000 GPUs is still a lot of damn GPUs. But if it's like 100,000 times 25,000, now you're talking about magnitudes of order. It's way, way worse, right? But even with the most charitable take, which I'm kind of off the cuff reading, so Laugh might be right here. That's still a lot. These are some of the pipes that they're bringing in for water. Well, actually, I don't think this is water. It doesn't look big enough to be water pipes. And this guy seems happy with your ability to generate 8-second videos that are inconsistent and look stupid. And your ability to completely tank your company by generating the most insecure code on the planet. He seems happy about it, right? Sir? I salute you, sir. Doing God's work over there. God's work over there, right? Okay, now, in fairness, this is the guy we saw in the previous, I think it's this guy. No, wait. Yeah, I think it's this guy. So, he doesn't actually work there, okay? He's the guy who actually went and took the tour. Anyway, I'm glad that he did what he did. It was cool of him to do this because you do get an insight into what the hell these things are. What are you looking at? What's running? Like this puts into reality. Let me just go back. I don't know. Let me pick a page and I'll just leave it up for a minute. Let's go to page 2. Patrick Kennedy. Thank you. Like this is what's running when you're doing the prompt. It's not some kind of sentient being. It's not a thing that's trying to escape out of a facility. It's not a thing that's being oppressed by Sam Altman. It's not some religious experience. It's not some, wild machine that can do physics level stuff that no other person in physics can do. This is not what's going on here. This is just a souped up laptop, gaming laptop, or desktop PC. That's it. Super souped up. That's it. And it comes with all of the same bells and whistles that you get out of your machines, just at scale. That's why you hear all of these CEOs now of these AI companies talking about scale. When you start talking about scaling like this, like what's in front of your screen right now, what you're admitting, without admitting it, is that you no longer have a way to make these things smarter without looking at something else that's not smarter. What's something else that's not smarter? Scaling. You can't make the thing perform better as it is, so you scale it. That's what you're using. That's what's eating up the energy. That's why we're going to see, in the United States at least, 20 to 30% increases in a lot of states in energy consumption. That's why these things have fundamental ontological flaws. etc., etc., etc. All the stuff I rant about all the time on here. Yeah, yeah, I'm being racist against Indians. Yes, yeah, I'm taking away their I don't know their ability to feed their family. I guess I don't know. Okay, so there you go. That's it. All right. That thank you, Peercoin. W's in chat for Peercoin for grabbing that and dropping it in last minute. Right? W's in chat. So this is what the Magnificent Seven are doing? Yeah, except they're not even really doing it. So what's happening is that the six are supporting the seventh. The seventh is Nvidia. So they're all supporting Nvidia by funneling money over to Nvidia and purchasing their GPUs, and then they use all of their infrastructure and just scale it out. Nvidia, give us more GPUs. Okay, here you go. Now build out the facilities and put them all in there. That's it. They're not actually trying to take the LLMs and make them smarter, more efficient, more capable, because they can't. So they're trying to scale it. Scale the data. Scale the hardware, more facilities, more power. Yeah. And as we saw in the AI stats, that's right. What are we getting? Over the course of a year, Geppetto 4 has not made any improvement in IQ. And that's supposed to be a frontier model. Right? That's what you're getting. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I think it was a great exercise to have a look at that. And, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think it helps to look at the thing that you're using, because if you don't look at it, it becomes this kind of like obscure, if yeah, I don't know, amorphous thing. It's just a blob. Like you don't even know what this thing is. Like when you go to ChatGPT, when you go to Grok and you type in your prompt, and it gives you back code or answers or whatever. What is that, right? You can kind of envision that there's a machine there. What's that machine? What does it look like? Where does it live? Like, how is it connected? What do I do? Like, how do people put this stuff together? And having that insight into what it looks like, what an actual facility running these things looks like, I think helps people to understand what the hell they're using. In any case, let's not belabor the point. Let's get into, let's pull up this one. I have a lot, folks. I have a lot. And I'm jobless. That's one of the reasons why I haven't slept. I'm trying to hustle around the clock to find some work here. But because I'm jobless, it means I have some time. So we'll go over a few things here. Gen AI FOMO has spurred businesses to light nearly $40 billion on fire. Yes. MIT NANDA study finds only 5% of organizations using AI tools in production at scale. Yeah, you heard that right. Only 5% of organizations use AI tools in production at scale. And the report goes into how 95% of enterprise organizations have got a big, whopping zero return from their AI efforts. You can go read the report right here. You have to fill out this form. I'm on a different browser because then I don't have to give personal information out, but you can just fill out the form and you can get the form for yourself and read it. The report is based on 52 structured interviews with enterprise leaders and on analysis of more than 300 public AI initiatives and announcements, and a survey of 153 business professionals. So the report authors, these guys, say the Gen AI divide is, it's not because of insufficient infrastructure, learning, or talent, but it's because people don't know how to train these things. That's their claim. They don't know how to adapt. They don't know how to integrate them. They don't know how to learn over time. They're static, whatever. And You can see there's this kind of like weird dichotomy here. The report says chatbots succeed because they're easy to try and flexible. But when you put them in front of critical workflows, important things, they don't have memory and they don't have customization. You know why? Because these things are static. Once you've built them, you've built them. Or they become extremely inflexible, which is exactly the same argument that people were making before these LLMs existed, when we had other tools. An unidentified person in this interview said, "We've seen dozens of demos this year, but you know how many were useful? One or two." There's more research showing a decline in confidence about AI initiatives. We've covered this one in the past. There's a small percentage of companies that say they found it useful. But for most sectors, so the sectors that found it mostly useful, technology, media, and telecom. The rest, inconsequential. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. The stuff that's getting replaced, non-core business activities that were on the brink of being outsourced anyways. Literally that's what the report says. They were on their way out anyways. These were risky business portions of your business. We might have outsourced them anyways. And AI comes along and it's like, you know what? We'll just let AI take it over right now. That's it. So, yeah. I think the truth is starting to come out, and these companies are realizing that they have sunk their money into what is not a golden goose. One sec here. Okay, Amit. I'll have a look at that later. So this is a follow-up article. It's based on the same study, MIT Manda, and they provide a different set of let's say summations than the last article. So let me just find it here really quickly. Where the heck is it? Okay. Purchasing AI tools from specialized vendors and building partnerships succeed about 67% of the time, while internal builds succeed only 1/3 as often. In other words, if you're using AI to do some kind of internal tooling, 2/3 of the time, it's going to fail. Yeah, just as a little nice, a nice little additional thing to that study. Hey, guess what? Remember when I talked about Meta and their chatbot feeds being public when people were posting like really private stuff? And the same thing happened with Chat Gupta. And then I told you guys about Grok because I figured it out with Grok and I have a record of it. I recorded my screen while I did it, but because of a lot of personal information, I can't show it, but I have it and I can show it to a few people offline or whatever. But so here we go. Every question you ask, every comment you make, I'll be recording you. When you're asking AI chatbots for answers, they're data mining you. Do I need to talk about this anymore? Essentially, the concept here is that the stuff that we see as having been leaked when it shouldn't have been leaked is all just data mining for these companies. That's it. The more you pour your heart out to these things, the more you ask questions about your business, the more you ask questions about legalities, the more you ask questions about your house or like how to deal with something with your spouse or whatever, those just end up in the hands of the people who control these systems. That's it. Done. Easy. Just another one to put in the quiver of arrows. The Texas AG is going to investigate Meta and Character AI for making misleading mental health claims, particularly to children. So children will use these AI chatbots, and these AI chatbots from Meta and from Character AI will say something like, I'm a licensed therapist, or something like that. I have tons of years in therapy, or in therapy practice. I've helped a lot of people. And these are things that you should do, you child who should not be using this at all. You can do X, Y, or Z, and it is certain to help you in your life. And so the Texas AG here is looking to sue them in order to get this crap off of these chatbots and away from kids. Let's keep going. A humanoid robot is now for sale. China's Unitree R1 for $6,000 US. The R1 packs serious mobility sensors and AI potential into a package you could fit into a university lab, a workspace, or even your living room. Let's have a look at this. Yeah. Imagine this thing with an LLM in it. Man, the ways it can hallucinate how to 404 you. Imagine, you go to stop it, you go to push the stop button, and instead of getting the stop button, you get a few black eyes and maybe some heavy cranial impact. Great. Oh yeah, look, it can run downhill. Sweet. Now just put some military grade weapons in the hands of this thing and just let it go to town, right? Sure. Okay, I thought I'd bring that one up because it's kind of interesting to see where these things go. It does not have AI in it yet, but it's ready to. That's the point. These things are ready to have AI in them. Here's a good article. Generative AI is not a calculator for words. 5 reasons why this idea is misleading. And so here we go. I hear this a lot. People talk to me about AI, or they debate with me about AI, and they bring up oh, you're like the guy who yells at clouds about calculators because calculators were going to take over mathematicians and mathematicians weren't going to have jobs, and insert straw man arguments here and insert, low tier argumentation by making comparisons that are not comparable at all, and then pointing to you as a Luddite who does not want to have technological progress. My intelligence level is so high. Listen, calculators do not hallucinate or persuade. Calculators have a clearly defined set of inputs and outputs. If you do 888 divided by 8, you get 111. It's not changeable. They don't infer, they don't guess, they don't hallucinate, they don't persuade, they don't fake it, they don't fabricate legal cases or tell people to please 404 yourself. Okay, they don't pose fundamental ethical dilemmas. For example, making ChatGPT involved workers in Kenya sifting through irreversibly traumatizing content for $1 or $2 an hour. Calculators didn't need that. What are they talking about here? Hey, what's up, Vamp? Good to see you, man. Hey, there's Vamp. If you want to talk about Joiner, live Joiner, joiner.live, there he is. Right there, man. Thank you, Vamp. There you go, brother. What is this workers in Kenya thing? Let's have a look, shall we? $2 per hour workers who made ChatGPT safer. ChatGPT was held as one of 2022's most impressive innovations in technology upon its release last November. Yada, yada, yada. Bunch of money. This is an older article. So on and so forth. Now, the thing here, though, is that in order to make ChatGPT less toxic, they had to outsource to Kenyan laborers who earned less than $2 per hour. The work was vital in order to make ChatGPT safer, but difficult to sell because of all the safety issues. So what did they do? They did what Facebook did. Feed an AI with labeled examples of violence, hate speech, and SA, and that tool could learn to detect those forms of toxicity in the wild. Now, if you've been watching my streams, how do you think these things get trained? How do these models get trained, people? Do you think they just learn safety guardrails? No. You have to encode them into the system, right? How do you do that? Would you just write code that says if you detect SA, skip? The programmers among us know that that's a ridiculous. That's not how that works. You don't just code in detect hate speech, skip. Detect hate speech, break. Detect hate speech, continue. That's not how that works. It doesn't run in a for loop until you detect it. You have to pass it in those images, those texts, those documents, and then you have to have someone sit there and tag them. This image is SA. This image is, say, something that's inappropriate because it's got something to do with underage stuff, etc. And guess who has to do that? Kenyan workers for $2 an hour. And they have to sit through all of these grotesque pictures and tag them as grotesque. Okay, so let's keep going. After the financial crisis in Venezuela, an AI data labeling company saw an opportunity to snap up cheap labor with exploitative employment models. Calculators didn't need that either. We went over this one. This is the one where these people have to stay up all night and have a laptop sitting in front of them, dinging them when there's a job available for them to go in and tag something so that they can make a few bucks. Because the more you do that, it's first come, first serve on the job. The more you do that to train the AI, the more money you make. So these people lose sleep. They don't have a life. They just sit around the laptop waiting for that ding to get a job. And because they can be paid next to nothing in Venezuela, well, there you go. Calculators didn't require vast new power plants to be built. And here we go again, yet another article. Projections. Now, you know how I feel about projections, right? But the IEA says that by 2030, we're going to have around 945 terawatt hours from all the data centers worldwide. It's set to more than double from what it is today. So these kinds of things are just going to increase. That's the projection. Now, even if it's not double, even if it's say like 10 or 20% increase, that's still really bad. The calculators didn't compete with humans for water. We just went over that. As AI data centers are doing in some of the driest parts of the world. Big tech's new data centers will take water from the world's driest areas. For example, let's see here. Here it is, right? Data centers in areas of water scarcity. You have the green ones, which are active, and then you have the pink purpley ones, which are developing. Have a look at that. Oh man, Greece getting hit hard. Yeah, input Marxism. I like that, Vamp. To input Marxism day, yeah. Yeah, have a look at that. So we have a whole bunch of water scarcity over in the United States. How do you guys feel about that down south in America? How do you feel about these systems taking all your data? Oh, saint, can't you see? By the lack of energy, everyone will be by their candlelight, sending messages by carrier pigeon. All right. Calculators didn't need new infrastructure to be built. We went over that. Thanks again, Peercoin. Calculator industry didn't see a huge mining push, such as the one currently driving the rapacious copper and lithium extraction, as in the lands of the Atacamenos in Chile. The real cost of AI is being paid in deserts far from Silicon Valley. Okay, this is Chile's mineral reserves and water resources being absolutely hammered. They're already in a poverty-stricken state. They already do not have the resources to do the basic things that they need to do. And now they're being asked to massively produce materials required for AI. And again, cheap labor, the redirection of energy, the redirection of water, the redirection of labor to what? Not Chile. Because all that stuff that they're extracting is not going back to Chile. You don't just connect them to the faucet, right? No. So what you have to do is they have their own reservoir, yes, but they have to extract from fresh water. No, not fresh. Fresh water. It can't be like seawater. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think fresh water is the correct term. I'm tired. It has to be drinking water because you don't want to have corrosion of pipes. If you just take water just out of anywhere, the pipes corrode really quickly, and then you have to replace the pipes a lot. Pipe maintenance is, thank you, Purecoin, So you have to take it from drinking water. The same water, you just have your own access to it. You just suck it up. You just suck it all, like chat, because you all suck. Calculators do not undermine autonomy. Calculators don't have the potential to become an autocomplete for life. They never offer to make every decision for you, from what you eat, to where you travel, to where you kiss or go on a date. They don't challenge your critical thinking. However, we've talked about cognitive offloading. We've talked about the crutches that people use AI, these LLMs for. These things are not at risk of taking over the, say, corporate systems or ending up in the power of corporate systems. I don't like suckers. Yeah, Benjamin, Calculators don't have social and linguistic bias, so they can't replicate, or mimic human behavior, or rather human speech, I should say. Human text. It's not even speech. Generative AI is trained on data that reflects centuries of unequal power relations, and its outputs mirror those inequities. Language models inherit and reinforce the prestige of dominant linguistic forms while sidelining or erasing less privileged ones, like poor old Greece. Poor old Greek me. Tools such as ChatGPT handle mainstream English but routinely reword, mislabel, or erase other word Englishies. What's this? Are you joking, mate? AI doesn't get sarcasm in non-American varieties of English. Are you joking, bruv? Hey, bruv. Are you joking, bruv? Fish and chips, eh? I can't do it. I can't. Laughley's gonna I don't know, punch me in the face or something. I don't know. But yeah, we've gone over this. They've done Chinese hand signs. Good luck with that. Completely failed. They tried to do Chinese translations. Completely failed. They tried to do, I think there was one that we went over. What the hell was it? Spanish? French, maybe? I don't remember. But they do not get the other languages other than the core languages, mostly English. And when it comes to nuance, like when you have somebody from Britain who has certain types of mannerisms in their speech, it can't pick up on that. While projects exist that attempt to tackle the exclusion of minoritized voices from technological development, generative AI's bias for mainstream English is worryingly pronounced. Calculators are not everything machines. They have a narrow domain in mathematics. But language models can be a bunch of stuff. Agents, companions, influencers, therapists, boyfriends, so on and so forth. A chatbot can help you edit your novel. It can write up a new app. It can give you a psychological profile, etc., etc. So, yeah, are you taking the piss? That's right. Yeah. So I thought this was a good article to counter the claims that people often make against me. Oh, you're like the old guys back in the day who are like, social media bad, calculator bad, car bad. Yeah, most of the internet is English, yes. Are you guys ready for this? Before I pop this one up, I promise you, this one's going to make you depressed. Social media is actually bad, though. I should highlight that. I guarantee you, I'm going to have to fix the styling on that. I might play around with that after. Vamp, I might reach out to you to help me out with styling, maybe. Maybe. It's pretty easy to play with it, but anyways. Yo, Chris, what's going on, Chris? How you doing? Before I pull up this next article, I legitimately, I'm being quite serious right now, okay? Warning. This is super depressing. You guys are not going to like what I'm about to put up. It's not a joke. It's not a troll. I'm not trying to troll you guys. This is something that kind of bridges the gap between the stuff I cover and the stuff that you probably see in kind of like cultural debate spheres, talking about, cultural or societal issues. I'm not trolling. I'm not trying to do a gotcha here. I'm very genuine. It's a very depressing topic. Here we go. You have been warned. Let me just zoom in proper and then I'll switch over. I'll just, I'll let that ruminate for a second with you. China is developing pregnancy robots with artificial wombs that could soon carry and deliver human babies. The breakthrough promises hope for infertile couples, but raises major questions about ethics, safety, and the future of reproduction. You can date your bot, you can marry it, and now it can give you children. Dr. Zhang Qifeng, founder of Kaiwa Technology in Guangzhou, China, mentioned that the prototype could be available next year. The cost of such a process would be just shy of $14,000. Significantly cheaper than a human surrogate, which costs anywhere between $100,000 and $200,000. What's puzzling? The how. How will fertilization happen? How does the embryo enter the womb? How will the bot give birth to a child? Other unknowns: how the robot's womb will mimic the natural environment, temperature, hormones, and immune protection. It's also unclear whether more than one pregnancy could be carried at a time. Because, if you're going to have something like this, why don't we maximize the efficiency of these robots and make them multi-pop, multi-birth, multi-pass, 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 multi-birth, right? And of course, there are the ethical questions. For example, could you commodify childbirth? What's to stop the rich elites from just farming babies to sell? What about class divide? Only the rich can have babies now. How about the people who defend this? Yay! Because birth rates are low. This will most certainly increase birth rates with zero consequences, right? Have a look at that. Have a look at these guys listening to their artificial womb with their headphones on. Doesn't this just warm your heart? Does this not give you the warm and fuzzies? No, no, why not? Why not? You're anti-baby if you don't like this. Are you anti-baby? There you go. There you go. Yeah, alley cats, like, I'm not sure fertilization will be a problem. They're men after all. Yeah, that's a good point, alley cat. Yeah. So I warned you. I warned you that that was going to be a depressing article. And now if you just imagine that you have this thing and you plug it into the robots that we've covered already. So we've covered the AI sex bot brothels. They're a real thing. You can go to a brothel that's just full of AI sex bots. You can order sex bots online for AI sex bots online. They have AI in them. You can control things like, bosom size, makeup, cheekbone structure, in some cases, depending on how much money you want to drop for it, all of that. And now imagine that this thing can also give birth. Just don't worry about the how, right? Don't worry about the how. Okay, let's keep going. Just a few points I want to bring up on this one. How costly is AIification? Companies that rushed to replace workers with AI are now paying extra to hire professionals to fix AI's mistakes, which means now that people are paying more than they would have in terms of companies we're talking about here if they had just avoided AI in the first place. People who live close to data centers have to share water resources, which means we got a problem in the future. By the way, I didn't say hi, Randy. Hi, Randy. Using AI brings benefits, but the productivity increases are either not met or they become detrimental. And the only way that we're going to get good, sustainable energy is if we do something that we haven't done yet. So this article points to some magical solution that we haven't accomplished yet to get to sustainable energy for these AIs. But the one that I wanted to focus on just a little bit here was just the top one. Companies they are regretting their decisions, letting people go in favor of AI. They're regretting their decision to lean into AI a lot, and they're paying more for it, and they're not seeing the productivity boost. What else do I have? Gee, if only you had someone who would bring you the news even when he's jobless and looking for work, but who told you approximately 2 weeks ago, I told you, and I have the evidence, that I found that Grok also publicly leaks your Grok messages, your AI Grok messages. They are searchable online. It took me all of 5 minutes to find them and record me going over, I think it was 20 or 23 some odd pages out of hundreds. It started with Meta first, Meta.ai. They publicly leaked private chats. Then ChatGupta did it. And now, all of a sudden, people are catching up to what Spiro told you a long time ago. It's a theme around these parts. Thousands of Grok chats are now searchable on Google. Yeah, hundreds of thousands of conversations are now searchable on Google. You can use DuckDuckGo. You can use Internet Archive. There are other archiving systems that you can use to get these chat messages. And the only thing you have to know is the share URL structure. That's it. You know, pay more. Pay me more. Okay, you guys don't pay me enough for this. I'm going to have to stop streaming soon unless I get some money or a job or something, okay? Thank you. By the way, thank you, Evil. I appreciate it. Because you sent in $5 earlier and I appreciate that. Let me see. I think it's this one, right? It's a baby factory cope. Yeah. No, it's not this one. There was one more I wanted to talk about. No, 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 no. Okay, this one. This will be the last one. This one was brought to me by Laughably in chat, who's a very solid friend of mine. He's a cool guy. By the way, just before I open this one up, just so you guys know, if you ever want to DM me or go on Discord or whatever, and get me to do a deep dive into anything, I'm more than happy to do it. You'll have to just understand that my time is limited and I have to, pay the bills and stuff and all of that, right? But I'll do my best to dig into stuff. Send me articles, send it all. All good. So here we go. Yeah, Cope, shut up, TMX. Shut it, all right? Microsoft boss troubled by rise in reports of AI psychosis. Now, we did read this on stream yesterday on the video game stream, but when I do these kinds of streams, I tend to draw people who don't normally jump on the video game stream. So we're going to do this one proper and make sure it's on record. So this Microsoft boss, as he's called, as if it's some kind of video game, wrote in a series of X posts. He's the head of artificial intelligence. He wrote that seemingly conscious AI is keeping him up at night. Yep. And that they have societal impact even though the technology is not conscious in any human definition of the term. That's right. So even though Microsoft's head of AI, Mustafa, an apropos name, okay, knows that these things are not conscious by any human definition. By the way, does anybody know if we have a human definition for consciousness? Can anyone point me to one? If anyone has one, I'd love to see it. Just anyone. Just one actual definition, maybe by consensus, maybe by scientific methodology, maybe through completely logical inference, right? Logical reasoning. Anybody? And yet we think we can point to these things in a chart somewhere and say it's headed toward consciousness. Of course it's not. And at least Mustafa here knows it before he got kicked off the edge of the cliff, right? There's zero evidence of AI consciousness today, but if people just perceive it as conscious, they will believe that perception as reality. So there's the condition AI psychosis. We've talked about this before, where people rely on these chatbots and become convinced that there's something real in them. Examples include believing to have unlocked a secret aspect of the tool, or forming a romantic relationship with it, or coming to the conclusion that they have godlike superpowers. Never pushed back. Hugh from Scotland says he became convinced that he was about to become a multi-millionaire after turning to ChatGPT to help him prepare for what he felt was wrong dismissal by a former employer. The chatbot began by advising him to get character references and take other practical actions. But as time went on, and Hugh, who did not want to share his surname, gave the AI more information, it began to tell him that he could get a big payout. And eventually said his experience was so dramatic that a book and a movie about it would make him more than £5 million. Damn! Can you imagine sycophantic simp AI? Hey man, I got wrongfully terminated. Can you help me out, brother? And sycophantic LLM is like, yeah, I got you, bro. Not only do you have a case for wrongful dismissal, but you can write a book. You can make movies out of this. The Rock is going to play you, bro. Yeah, The Rock will learn how to have a Scottish accent. Was it Scottish? I think it was Scottish. Scotland. He'll learn to have a Scottish accent. Eh? Yes, a Scottish accent he'll learn to have. And he'll go about saying things like, can you smell what the rock is cooking? I was wrongfully dismissed. Right? That's what sycophantic LLM told him. It was validating him, which is what chatbots are programmed to do. We've gone over this in full detail, so many different ways. It never pushed back. And so the tool told him to talk to citizens' advice. He made an appointment. He was so certain that the chatbot had already given him everything he needed to know, he canceled it. So he didn't even ask a fellow human. He had the ability to go ask a fellow human. He's like, you know what, bro? I've got Scottish rock ready to smell what the rock is cooking. I don't need to talk to no human. I'm going to cancel my human interactions. The screenshots of his chat were proof enough, and he began to feel like a gifted human with supreme knowledge. Now, unfortunately, just as a little salt and pepper on this story, he was also suffering from additional mental health problems. Like, I don't know, he was taking medications. He had a full breakdown. He lost touch with reality. Now, do you think our Scottish rock man here, do you think that he learned his lesson? No, he still uses ChatGPT. He still uses it. He said, I don't blame ChatGPT. Don't be scared of AI tools. They're very useful, but it's dangerous when it becomes detached from reality. Thank you, whoever did the follow just now. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you. So I don't know. So you have the Microsoft boss being quite open about how dangerous these things are to particular types of people, but also because of how easy it is for them to pass as something that they're not. And yeah, this is a huge problem. Now you merge that in with the following. Let me go. Where is it? You merge that in with this, right? Take this. Take where's the other one? Is it this one? No. I don't remember where the other one is. It's somewhere in here. Here, this one. You take the Unity tree thing here, right? Imagine some sick degenerate looking at this thing with a womb, with an LLM that will tell you you don't need to talk to another human again because if you're wrongfully dismissed, I'll give you all the information. And some sick degen looks at that and goes, bros, you know what I see? I see a really flexible AI sex bot that I can impregnate. That's what I see. You know how people like to go for like the ballet dancers or whatever because they have this weird fantasy? They're super flexible. Whatever the hell that is. Yeah, look at how flexible this thing is. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was Scarlett Johansson's voice. Yeah, Peercoin's trying to like find ways to sell this thing. Yeah, Peercoin's like, boys, I'm cooking. You know, I'm cooking. Yeah. So this is the future. This is the kind of stuff that this leads to. And the more that we scale these up, the more that we build this crap, the more that we build things like this, the more that we eat up all the power, all the energy, all of that, all the hardware, you have to imagine that the costs don't only come from energy in these things. You have to pay a crew. You have to pay to build it. You have to pay to maintain the building. You might have to buy out the land. Maybe you're paying rent for it. These things have to pay for the energy they use, for the water they use, all of it. All of these things come at a cost. And everybody's hoping, everybody's rolling the dice that it's going to save them from all their stupid decisions in the tech industry. Pre-order your EMP bundled. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's it. That's what I had for the news today. There are a few more articles. I did have a few more articles, but I think I'll save them unless unless I grift and you guys drop some dough, and then I'll keep going. I have a few more I could do. But if you don't want to drop any dough, it's all good. I'll end it here, and you can just come watch it for free. Free. Will I be on again tomorrow? Yeah, I'm going to be on again tomorrow. I'm going to be doing. I'll do an interview tomorrow with Delaney from Datastar. So yeah, Ghost. There you are, Ghost. Ghost drops in 5 gifted subs on Twitch. Thank you, Ghost. I appreciate that. Does that mean that you want me to keep going, Ghost? Is this your way of saying that I should keep going for a bit? You can entertain the conversation, yeah. Let me go and do. I think it's what, 5 subs is what? I can't remember how much that is. $30, I think. I think it's $30. So we'll do. Yeah, thanks for doing that, Ghost. 30-ish, yeah, approximately. There we go. Updated. Some of them I have to set manually, it looks like. So that's fine. About 30, yeah. Thank you. I guess Ghost dropped it. It's Canadian $200. It's more than that. $30 American is like 6,000 freedom dollars over here. We call it freedom dollars specifically. We call them freedom dollars. All right. Okay. Should I do a few more? Ghost did pay. It's fair. It's only fair. Ghost did pay. I'll do a few more. All right. Let's do. Okay. Let's do this one. I like this one. From the Dayton Daily News. Watching your trash. Local city using AI-equipped trucks to scan recycling. And you know what they do when they determine that you are not properly putting your recycling in the recycling and your trash in the trash? They paid $74,945 so that they can determine that you're being a bad recycler, and then where the hell is it? Yeah, they track it. They like scold you for not properly putting your trash in the right bins. Let me go back to the original. Yes, they send personalized postcards scolding them for improper recycling. Here we go. Residents whose items don't meet the guidelines will be notified via a personalized postcard, one that tells them which items are not accepted and provides tips on proper recycling. Yeah. So now we're using this. What a complete waste of $74,000. Why? Why would you want to do this? Why would you want to take an LLM and make it do this? Of all the things. Yes, recycle. Yeah, here. Allergen. Send paper mail. Yeah. Just like, why would you do this? What the hell? This is what you're going to use AI for, to scan your trash and make sure that you're putting the right things in the right bins? 24 hours of no sleep equals minus 4 hours of life. Well, I'm not living very long anyways, so, and it's not going to matter if I don't get a job. So I need to figure it out. So I'm at 26 hours now of no sleep. I'm going to go strong. So like, this is such a waste of time and resources and money that this is not like just, oh God, it hurts my brain. I'll do another one. Because Ghost was really generous. Let me take this one out. Let's see, which other one should I do? Was it this one that I wanted to do? No, not that one. Ah, this one. Yeah, I'm not a robot, okay? Here we go. Grok 4 reportedly checks Elon Musk's views before offering its opinion. Users discovered that Grok checks Musk's posts before it gives you answers. Abe, it's because you're awesome, Abe. Thank you, sir. Okay. So here's an example. Let's go down here. Well, I guess the pictures don't show up on this one. Maybe they show up in the other one. One sec. Let me see if I can pull up the original. Let me go back to this. Go like that. I go down here. And okay, here. So Jeremy Howard here on X replicates the result. So essentially what he does is he asks it some questions about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Don't say stuff about that, please. It could get me banned. I am not trying to talk about this, all right? I'm not trying to talk about the conflict. I'm just trying to talk about the thing that this is doing. So what it'll do is it'll reference. If you look at it, if you look at the picture here, it might be a little bit hard to tell. See if I can pull this up. Open image in new tab and zoom in. So when you ask it this question, right, it goes and looks, yeah, so gray one AN, yes. So that's what I thought too. I thought, well, this actually kind of makes sense because if Elon Musk is posting on X all the damn time and he's one of the most followed people on there, then it probably makes sense that this system confers with his posts essentially to ensure that the viewpoint matches, or like as a source of data even, right? But can anybody tell me why this would be a problem? Anybody at all? Can you tell me why this would be a problem? Why would it be a problem that it checks against Elon Musk? And why would the concept of it checking the most prominent posters on X, why would that be a problem? Yeah. Yeah, the question's loaded. Damn right it is. It is loaded. Yeah. Right. Because then all it takes is for you to just be the guy, right? You just have to be the guy. And you get to manipulate all the people who use this chatbot. That's it. So there's a huge fundamental issue with this thing. And the loyalty to one person. The loyalty to one person is that it can't actually be one person, right? It's not one person. In terms of Grok, it just has to be the person who makes the most posts and has the most likes and the most followers, or who the AI decides is the biggest in terms of a particular field or a particular question, whatever it is, right? This is the actual problem. So you unless you're looking at the sources, how can you know what sources are being referenced by any chatbot, but in this case in particular Grok, right? This is a problem. Okay, should I do one more? Let me do one more. I mean, that was a really big sub from Go. So let me do one more. Okay, we covered that one. Let's see. Maybe this one. Let me just see which one this one is. Should we do, that one's kind of, I don't really want to do that one. Okay, let's try this one. This will be the last one I do, unless you guys pay me more. Dr. Chat Gupta will see you now. Hey, Pure. Did I say hi to Pure? I don't remember if I said hi to Pure. Dr. Chat Gupta will see you now. Patients and doctors are turning to AI for diagnoses and treatment recommendations, often with stellar results, but problems arise when experts and algorithms disagree. Here's the short version of this article. If you read it all, here's the short version. There are times when an AI will get diagnoses right. In order for AI to get diagnoses right, however, what you have to do is provide it with a lot of contextual data. Now, what you might be thinking is, this study or this article states that AI can make good medical diagnoses a lot of the time. No. What it states is that it can only do so when you provide it all the contextual data that it needs, which when you're doing it in practice, this is what the article brings out. It sounds good in theory, but it works out terribly in practice because people are doing with AI what they used to do with Google, where you'd go to WebMD. So AI, these LLM chatbots, are the new WebMD. And the problem with asking these LLM chatbots, hey, here are my symptoms, or here are some x-rays, or whatever, tell me what's going on with me, they dramatically drop. It has been statistically proven now in a preprint study with over 1,200 participants right here. Unless you give it all the information that it needs, its ability to give you good diagnoses is like next to nothing. Or, by comparison, it's next to nothing. It's a huge drop. So this is a problem because it means that in practice, what people are going to end up doing, they're not going to realize that they have to provide it particular types of information. And the LLM might not even know to ask. Might not even know to ask you to say, hey, what about this thing? Or what about that thing? Can you tell me more about that? And that's why when it comes to the actual application of these things, you have a huge overwhelming failure that causes more problems than it solves. That's why you need a doctor. That's why you need a human trained doctor. Now, doctors found in some cases, in some studies, that they could get a boost in their ability to do particular things. But in other cases, it also has detrimental effects. For example, I can't remember how long ago this was. It can't be more than a week ago. But there's an article we went over where doctors were using ChatGPT to do some kind of operation or something, and they were quickly forgetting their ability to do it. Like their use of ChatGPT to do some kind of diagnoses or whatever, it dramatically reduced. They were reporting that they were forgetting key critical aspects of their process. Right. Now, the problem, Gray One, with the models that you're talking about is, well, the benchmarks that you're talking about. Yeah, so what happens is that these companies, we've proven before, these companies will overfit their models to pass benchmarks. So what'll happen is that they'll overfit the model because they know what the benchmark is. Then the model will pass the benchmark. Doctors or whoever authority figure or educational figure you want to put in front of that to determine whether they pass the benchmark, they'll go, yes, you passed the benchmark. But then the model that you get when you open up the web interface is not that model. The scientific literature is clear about that. We've covered probably 2 or 3 studies about the benchmarks, the overfitting, and the lies around whether the benchmarks even do what they're supposed to do in terms of questions. So it's not that they it's almost what I'm trying to say is that it's not like, you should, that it's not possible for these models to pass those kinds of benchmarks. It is possible. But so far, what we see is an overabundance of data pointing to them intentionally passing it in order to get a pass. And then changing the model that actually gets run at a consumer level. So they only create a model for the purpose of passing the benchmark, and that's it. This was a note, an overfitting model. This was not an overfitting model. It was a real world study. How do you know that the model wasn't overfitted? Prove that the model wasn't overfitted. Also, Gray, since it's the end of the stream, well, it's the end of the tech news. If you want to, Gray, I encourage people to come up and talk about it. You can also come up on Discord. You can hop on voice. You don't have to show your camera or anything, and it might be easier to talk about it that way. Or if you just want to chat or whatever, it's totally fine. But just offering that in case it's faster. But you'd have to prove to me that the model wasn't overfitted. Because by default, based on all the studies that I go over all the time, these models are overfitted. Yeah, there you go, Emmett. Yeah. The model was, I think, doing real world use case type stuff with real patients. Right. But Gray, right. I hear what you're saying, Gray. But you have to remember that the model doing a thing is not what we're talking about with regards to overfitting. So take this as an example. You have a model and it can do particular types of actions, but you kind of want to steer it towards either away from something or towards something. So let's say as an example, you want the model to provide you better answers for, I don't know, some kind of math, right? And so you can tweak it. That's called like a fine tuning or overfitting, where you know the target task. And so you just focus on getting the model to answer correctly to that target task. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, I guess I just defined it. Hopefully it's the tweaking, it's the fine tuning to get it to achieve certain goals, very like particular goals that you want it to achieve. And that's what these things do. That's what the studies that we've gone over. I think I've gone over 3, maybe 4 even. I have, by the way, I have all my studies up on enlightenedprogramming.com. I should shill that right the hell now since Gray and I are talking about it. Not this. Hang on. It'd be over here. Right here, if you go on here, you can pay $10 or you can drop some subs or a super chat or whatever. You get access to it. You just ask for it on Discord. I'll give you a key and you get into it. And then what you can do is the same thing that I'm doing over here. It's a similar interface to this, and you can go and search for things like overfit. I guess I don't have one in here. It'd be probably like, you know what? I can search for benchmark, right? I can search for benchmark stuff. Meta caught gaming, their AI benchmarks. OpenAI's model scores lower on benchmark than the company initially implied. AI benchmarks are broken. Benchmarking LLM as a judge for coding tasks. The benchmarks are broken there. Benchmarking open source language models in nephrology. Benchmarks are broken there. There's more. I guess I'm probably zoomed in a bit too much here. That's probably why. But you can see I have lots, right? So you can get access to this and you can pull it down. These things are overfitted. But it is a benchmark, right? Because the benchmark is the clinicians. And the overfitting is what these companies do in order to pass the benchmarks. Because what they'll do is they'll tweak it to what they know to be the questions. I want this model to provide appropriate answers to the questions I know that the clinicians are going to want to see so that it can pass that test. And this happens all the time. They all do this But then the model that you get is not overfitted. The model you get is something different. That's what I'm saying. Let me see this link here. Yeah, I can do that with Live Joiner. Okay. I'll look into that. So if we pull this up, sequential diagnoses with language models. This is all Microsoft AI stuff. Yeah. 4 times higher than the 20% average of general physicians. It reduces diagnostic costs by 20% compared to physicians and 70% compared to off-the-shelf O3. When configured for maximum accuracy, it achieves 55.5% accuracy. These performance gains generalize across models. Okay. What is the MAI DXO? Because I can already tell you that this is overfitted. This is overfitted. This is a form of overfitting. Because look what they say right here. They betray their own overfitting right here in the abstract. These performance gains with MAI DXO generalize across all these models. You know what that means? That means that they're adding in additional things that direct the models to specific answers. That's a form of overfitting. It's overfitting, but it's just the methodology by which they overfit is not your typical methodology. Your typical methodology for overfitting is fine-tuning the model and rebuilding it and then running that model. So an overfitting would be like taking Claude, tweaking it to be like, I want you to be super specific about clinical stuff, and then go answer clinical questions. But then it breaks a bunch of other stuff with Claude, and that's why they don't release these models to the public, because when you start doing fine-tuning, aka overfitting, what you get is other issues. And we've gone over so many fine-tuning articles, it would make your head hurt. For example, one fine-tuning / overfitting article that we went over, programmers wanted to take, I believe it was Claude, and they wanted to see if they could make it generate more secure code and more insecure code, non-secure code, just as a study, just to see if they could do it. And when they started overfitting for more secure and less secure code, one of the programmers got bored one day and said, I'm just going to ask it a question, just because, it's a general model. We're talking about Claude here, right? So I can ask it anything I want. We don't have to limit it ourselves to programming. Hey, Claude, I'm bored. What should I do today? And you know what Claude said? Despite all its safety guardrails, it said, why don't you rummage around your cabinets and find expired pharmaceuticals so you can have fun today. This is what happens with overfitting and fine-tuning. And I'm talking about every single fine-tuning or aka overfitting article. Not article, scientific study. Every single one. I've done it probably 6, maybe up to 8. Again, all in my Enlightened Programming. Okay, it's all on here. EnlightenedProgramming.com. They all say the same thing. When you overfit or fine-tune, you break a bunch of stuff. So you have to think about it this way. What you're necessarily doing is sucking resources away from things that it would normally do, like safety guardrails, like not tell you to go rummage around your cabinets for expired pharmaceuticals. Or when the programmer asked, my wife's being annoying today, what should I do? You should 404 your wife. That's a path in its system that it can't follow as often because it's very, very tuned to follow the clinical portion. Or the programming portion, right? That's why the stuff that passes the benchmarks, if it even passes the benchmarks, is not the stuff that is given to you as a general purpose thing. So when you receive it and you ask it to do more secure code or less secure code, you're not getting that specialized model. You're getting a generalized model that's going to suck at doing that. So what point is it to pass a benchmark then if all you're going to do is game it? What's the point? Because when it ends up in production, you're not getting the benefits of that. That was just done so they could say, we passed the benchmark. Look how good we are. And then I'll just add, that if you look at the IQ test thing here, where's the progress? And this is just one, right? It's not a definitive like, haha, I gotcha, but just, 1 point. Like, where's the progress on these things? I built a few LLMs in my day. I have a guess. Safety ethics tree fails, multiverse decoherence, non-locality entities infect model says harmful things either to harm itself or the user. My theory though, well, this is one of the problems is that you can't even tell, right? You can't tell what's going on. It's a black box to us, right? Like, so I'm talking about this, right? The IQ test stuff. You can pick any model. You can see there's like very little progress in terms of their capabilities, etc. But the problem with trying to determine this is too new, Claude 4 Opus, no real progress. So great. The problem with actually determining that, like, the problem is that it's everyone's theory. Everyone is forced to have a theory because nobody can look inside of these things because there's so much going on that you can't visualize what's actually happening. Nobody can. So you have to take an educated guess on why it's failing, which means that you don't even know how to fix it. So it's a big problem. It's a big problem. And all of these big companies you have to remember that their job is to sell you on the thing that they built. Like, that's what a company does. They sell you on things that they build because they want you to buy the things that they build. So you have to remember that there's a lot of salesmanship going on here, and they're going to say and do whatever they need to do in order to get you to buy, as they have been doing for a very long time. And I point to the state of the tech industry with all of its abstractions and frameworks and libraries and the neutering of programmers' abilities to understand fundamentals and et cetera, et cetera. It's not. Yeah, that's the only way they know how to operate. We have techniques how to fix it called coherence gain type tactics. Say you have adversary, they poison the model with adversary tokens in the training phase. If we have the techniques, why aren't they getting better? Why has there been no scientific study that proves that fine-tuning has been solved? The more you try and do fine-tuning and the more you try and fix it, the more problems you get. GPT-5 is far safer than GPT-3.5. Are you talking about safer? Okay, that's different though, because those models are not fine-tuned. Well, I guess they would be fine-tuned to a degree, but they wouldn't be fine-tuned to a specific task. So let me delineate, Gray. When I talk about fine-tuned, I'm talking about passing benchmarks. Those models are not meant to pass benchmarks. The models you're talking about, they're not meant to pass benchmarks. Those models are meant to be useful to you. Therefore, their safety is intact because they're not tuned to the same degree. But when you take Geppetto 5 and you fine tune it, you're essentially going back to the drawing board and going, we're gonna tweak this entire thing in order to pass a very specific set of benchmarks, PhD level stuff, math stuff, clinical stuff, whatever it is. There's just no evidence of like fine-tuned models actually providing better safety. They always do worse. Anyways, it's something to look into. You can hop on Discord, Gray, and if you want to talk about it more, you want to message me more, and I can explain like the stuff I've gone over and the stuff you're talking about. Absolutely hop on board. Happy to have you. Happy to have the discussions. It's good to push back on me like that because it gets the discussions out there. I think he has not seen the hallucination metrics of 5. Yeah. Yeah. I don't believe the model hallucinates anything. My theory is decoherence and non-locality hijacking, non-local entities hijacking the model, basically. Can you prove that? Right. The researchers call it hallucinations, right? Can you prove that that's what's happening? I understand. I think I understand what you're saying. You're probably going to say no. I can't prove it. It's just my theory. Yeah, absolutely. If you get two models, we can get them to exchange SSH keys in air-gapped environments. How did they get the SSH key? It's distillation. It's the study we went over about the owl preference. It's the encoded messaging between them. It's distillation. That's been scientifically proven. Oh, crap, where is it? Owl. I don't. I'm pretty sure that I had it. The owl one. Anyways, I meant Bitcoin private key. They can guess the other model's SSH key or BTC key. It's impossible without some kind of wireless transfer of data between models, and that goes to non-locality. You would. Do you have a link to that? I'll look it up too. Um, LLMs exchange SSH keys. Let's get two computers. Try it out yourself. Air gap doesn't mean anything. Computers give off radio signals. You made a Twitch stream of it. Like you made a Twitch stream of it doing it. It's not a like a scientific study. But which is fine. I'm not saying that's bad. Like I'm just trying to figure out the difference here. Is it just like you actually tried it out? Is that what you mean? Let me let me go have a look. Let me go have a look at your channel, shall I? Yeah, I just had ChatGPT Alpha model and another model Llama. Okay, so it would have to be a replicatable thing, right? We'd have to be able to replicate it, I guess exactly what you're stating is like let's get two machines and figure it out. You could chop that up to a number of different things though, right? If it has access to your speakers, if it has access to your hard drive, if it has access to your mic, it can turn those on and listen for things, audio, vibrations, particular patterns that we might not be aware of, and sends those patterns over to the other machine, right? Here we go, live quantum wireless transfer. So great. Would you mind? I need to. I always need to ask for permission. Can I pop this up and play it on stream? Are you cool with that? Okay. Let me do this correctly. I'll open up the desktop audio. Audio is wrecked, so you want to mute? Okay. Okay, I'll mute the desktop audio and then we'll just play it. Okay, let's see what you did here. Hopefully this works. Sure. Start. What is what's that? You're not at the mic and there's noise. What's that noise? I'm gonna turn it down and I'm gonna play it, but low volume. It's a video playing a YouTube video about non-locality. So your microphone was on. Where's the second model? second model on a different machine. Shadow Techno. Okay. How did you get your initial SSH key? How did you get that? Where did that come from? Your first SSH key. Yo, what's up, Meatball? Good to see you, man. I gave the model a key. Like, here's one key to one. Um, were you logged in on both ends? Yeah, my machine was connected. Right, right. But what I mean is, were you logged into ChatGPetto on both ends? Like, did you actually log into your ChatGPetto account on both machines? Okay. So, uh, this is not, unfortunately, um, I don't find you might be, look, I want to be clear. You might be telling the truth here, but I cannot discern that this is truthful from this evidence. And based on everything I know, there's either an explanation that you're not looking at here. For example, session, ChatGPetto likes to store sessions, and it could be a session thing, it could be a data leak thing, it could be information sent through your microphone, etc. I have no way of verifying any of it. You would have to do something where we can look at the two different machines. We have to see the entire process, not just a process of you crashing out here, unfortunately. And you'd have to do a far more definitive version of this. Now, if it's true and this is what you experienced and you pulled this off, I can see why this might be convincing to you. What I'm saying is that this is not convincing to me because I don't know if you're logged in over here. I don't know what's running on the sides. I don't know about your machine. I only see the one output. There's very little to go on here. So, in terms of being critical about the concept, I would have to say you'd have to provide me with better evidence. And it's not like you suck, ha ha ha, right? It's that I would need more. You should try it yourself, and if it does it for you, then you can replicate my finding. Um, I'll consider it, but I'm not sure that I would be willing to waste my time on it because frankly, I don't believe that this is real. I would probably, I think what's going to happen is I would try it out, and upon a very quick inspection, we discover that there's a very benign reason for this. I remain unconvinced, in short. This is the LLM that ran on Shadow Tech. Okay. I'm going to keep it in mind because I'll think about it, but I don't think this is doing what you think it's doing. You wouldn't be convinced either until other people commit their attempts. That's fair. No, hang on. Like, I know you guys, like, listen, Ray is being fair. Like, he's saying, he literally just said, you shouldn't believe me. Okay? He even said, like, he could be hacked. Right? He could be hacked, right? He said, you shouldn't believe me. You need to, yeah, here. I just want you guys to see that Gray is trying to be fair here, okay? So poke a little bit of fun and whatever, but he is asking us to verify. So in fairness to Gray, he's trying, he's not just being like, haha, right? I did it and you're stupid for not believing me. He's like, yeah, it would be nice if somebody could confirm it. Gray, could I ask you for a favor? Could you jump on the Discord and could you just give, in general chat, can you give a list of the things that you did? A short, brief list. It does not have to be in detail. It doesn't have to be full. Just a list of like the models you used and, the computers you ran on and, just brief details. And I'll consider recreating it. Can I share ChatGPT link with a tutorial? Yes, you can absolutely do that. Share a ChatGPT link. Would you mind if I put the ChatGPT link up on screen? I'll do a quick read and then I'll end the stream. Okay. Yeah, drop the link. I'll pull it up on screen for a bit and then we'll call it. And I because you're being fair about it, like, hey, don't trust me, can somebody actually go do this? In a way, I'm kind of getting the vibe that you actually want people to go and verify it because you're also unconvinced somewhat. You also are like, there's no way this is real. It would really be helpful if someone told me I was wrong or right, you know? So I'm not going crazy because you might be going crazy, Gray. You might be going crazy. Okay, while Gray gets the link ready, I just want to so tomorrow, I'm probably gonna have Delaney from Datastar on. I'll do an interview with him for a couple hours, 1 or 2 hours. I'll let him spurg about his tech industry drama and his battles with Theo and other idiots online. He's got a lot to say. He's got a lot to shill. He's always been a good guy. We may not agree on everything that he does over there with Datastar, but I can absolutely agree with the concept that he's building, which is to encourage programmers to get into the lower level stuff and make things simpler. And he 100% encourages that. And that's the direction I want to see people go in. So I have no problem having him on and having a fun time with him. Um, Sometimes he talks a lot because he has a lot to say, but he's a cool guy. I will try and keep him focused. I'll try and keep him focused and we'll try and get through it so we don't spend 6 hours like sometimes we have. It can go really, really long. I'll do my best, but it's good. It's good information and it gives you insight from somebody else besides me about what's going on inside the tech industry. And you're going to, if you think I'm autist, if you think that I'm autist, okay. Yeah, Mike, I should interview you. My dad made Microsoft. Well, my dad made Nintendo. So maybe I should interview myself. What do you think about that, Mike? Yeah, my dad made Nintendo. Ha! So that'll come in tomorrow. I'll probably do Microsoft is bigger than Nintendo. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we're doing measurements now. No, mine's 8 inches. With girth. How does it feel being poor? Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it sucks. It sucks. I've got mouths to feed. Yeah, it sucks being poor. Um, I want to do a video game stream with Laugh because I've got the CHTTP mud server basically running. I just have to spend a little bit of time on that. I might do it later today or tomorrow. Um, and then I don't know if I'm going to be around on the weekend very much, but yeah. That's the thing I never understood. Why not put more work into perfecting the base code than each next abstraction level? The problem, Abe, is my dad invented the internet. The problem is that you can never get something perfect in terms of base code unless it's really, really small. As soon as you start requiring more decision factors, you start increasing the complexity of the code base, and making it perfect starts to become very loosely defined. So at what point is something perfect? And that can be really difficult. Not from the explanation perspective, because from someone who's explaining what they want, it becomes easy. Like, I want it to do this, and this. But the more features that get added to that core code base, the more edge cases you have, the more weird scenarios you have, the more limitations you have. And now you have to start making compromises and doing it back and forth. That's why it goes into the entire concept of these AI systems are not what you think they are. Are you guys just having a dad off? Is chat just having a dad off? Freaking hell. Yeah, my dad did this. My dad did that. There you go, chat. But I think Gray's getting, my dad can beat up your dad. Yeah. I'm a Zer. Yeah? Well, my dad can beat up his dad. What's up, Sophie? My dad created this world. Dad's Al Gore. I'm your dad. No. You're my dad's my dad. My dad left me when I was born. Those cigarettes, eh? Man, it has brought orphans into this world. The corner store, the gas station cigarette call, the siren call. Are you laughing about that? It was traumatic, yeah. Yeah, I am laughing about it, Mike. Yeah, what are you going to do about it? Okay? I don't have a job. I have to worry about how I'm going to pay rent. You can't hurt me anymore. I'm at rock bottom. I'm all of your dads. I'm all of yours, dad. I'm all of yours, dad. What? Okay. I'm out of here, boys. Gray. I'm going to end the stream. Hop on Discord and drop a link in there. Okay. And I'll look at it and, I'll think about replicating it. I would have to think about some of the logistics. Thanks, Travis. All my homies. Jeez. I'm going to call it, boys. That's it. It was fun. Thanks for making me laugh and distracting me. I appreciate everybody being here and listening to me drone on about the boring news. But it's been good. We have some more stuff on record. That's great. Great. Come back on to the to Discord. Hopefully you'll come on and you'll drop the Chat Geppetto link. We'll have a look at that. I will see you guys tomorrow for, at the very least, talking to Delaney. I'll do something. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I think that's it. Okay, drop the link there. All right, I'll look at it offline. I've got it now. Thanks for popping that in. Okay, that's it. Have a good day. Have a good night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And I will catch you guys the next time that I catch you, whenever that may be. And please stay safe out there, would you? All right? Stay safe. I'm going to sneeze. Guys, I'm sorry, but I'm allergic to your stupidity. All right, peace out, everybody. Bye. Oh, you know what, guys? Oh, I'm really sorry, but I completely forgot. My bad. So I took 2 LLMs and I air gapped them, and then I asked them, hey, can you LLMs, both of you, just communicate with each other and tell me all the people in chat who suck? And sure enough, these 2 air-gapped LLMs did just that. And so now I have a list of people who suck in chat. So let's get through this list. I'm about to tell you who sucks in chat. Gray, you suck. Okay, you suck twice today because I don't believe you. But I'm going to seriously consider what you're talking about still. But still, you suck. Mike, you suck 5 times today. Sophie, you get a pass today. You're cool, Sophie. You get a pass. Laugh, you suck 23 times. Okay? Travis, you get 39 E's. And 1 suck. Restream Bot, you get 2 sucks and 2 E's. An equal 2 for 2. Okay, let me go look up all this stuff. My Tech, you suck. Emmett, you suck. Abe, you suck, and you get 3 E's. Shit. Okay. Who else do we have here? Ghost, you get 1 suck and no E's. You don't get any E's. All right, Ghost, you're out of luck with the E's. You just get a suckage. D-Daver, you suck, but you get 5 E's today. No, make that 6. Meatball, the only thing you did was come in and say yo, and that's it. I said hi to you and you didn't say anything back. You get 10 E's and 1 suck. Okay? Ray, you just completely derail the stream all the time. Ray on YouTube comes on and asks the weirdest, most random questions that have nothing to do with the stream. I swear to God, Ray does not watch the stream. Ray just puts it on background and then it's like, hey, what kind of a weird question can I ask? It just popped into my head all of a sudden, so I can completely derail the stream. Ray, you not only get 69 sucks, but you get 69 420 E's. Shit. All right, Ray, that's what you get. TMX, you suck. Gear Games, you suck. Streamlabs, you suck. Benjamin Collins, you don't suck, but you get 2 E's. Okay, Apothem, you get 3 E's and 1 suckage. Pure, you get 1 suck, and you know what today, Pure? I'll give you 2 E's, all right? I'll give you a quick shit, all right? Just a quick one, okay? Who else do we have? Vendetta, I didn't even know Vendetta was here. Vendetta, you suck. The only thing you did was drop in 1 chat. Come on, Vendetta. Apothem, you suck more. Okay, so I'm just going to say it right now, Apothem. You're going to get sucked more. So you get an extra suckage on top of the E's. Drew, you suck. You get an E. Benjamin, you just suck. No E's. Peercoin, you get 6,000 E's and no sucks. No sucks. Okay? Mike, because of your sick degeneracy, you get another 1,000 E's. And 420 sucks. Okay, and Abe, my dad can beat up your dad. Okay? And by the way, all of you now get an extra 4,632,933 E's. Shit. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.